How's it going? Today, I want to share with you 7 common mistakes for setting up your RV that are easily avoidable. Things that can cost you time and money. Why waste time setting up your RV when there's other things that you want to get to? So let's not waste any time. Let's get into number 1. This one I call the power walk around because you want to find out if there's anything wrong with that site for you being able to use it before you start doing any of the other steps to set up your RV. Some people call this the get out and look. You want to actually get out of your vehicle, walk around to make sure you know the obstacles, know where your stairs are going to land, know the clearances for where your slides are going to be, get a plan for where you're going to actually put the RV. This one's really easy to overlook when you've had a long day of driving. You just want to get pulled into your site and set up, but this one really can save a massive amount of time if there's something wrong with the site. And if it has power, that's why I call it the power walk around, is to actually check that pedestal to make sure that it's not wired improperly. Because if it is, it might take time to get there and fix it, and you might be able to just move to another site that has proper power. You're going to thank yourself when you're able to turn on that AC and not have to wait for an electrician to show up. Now, moving on to mistake number 2, it's ironically 2 parts with leveling the RV. Planning and problems with auto level. Now, here's the problem if you don't plan to level your RV and you have a towable RV. If you go into a site that has a higher elevation on the front of your RV and you drop down that leg or you stack too many blocks underneath there, you don't have enough travel on your landing gear or your front jack in order to actually level that out. So you might end up having to rehook your vehicle back up and fix that situation. So just paying attention to, does your RV need to go up to level or down to level in the front is really going to save you a lot of headache, and then just planning for that. The other problem I see is relying on auto level too much. I like to give our RV a little bit of a pre-level so that way we're not lifting wheels off the ground. When you lift wheels off the ground, you can damage your leveling system or even worse, create an unsafe situation because once you're lifting wheels off the ground, you can't wheel chock your RV anymore. Those wheels are dangling in the air. A wheel chock by them is not going to do anything for them. So when we're backing into a site, sometimes I'll grab the wedges, put them underneath the low side, back onto them, get them somewhat close so that way the auto level's not having to do so much work and those wheels are going to still be contacting the ground and chocked. So the 2-part solution is plan your level and do a pre-level if the site needs it. Moving on to mistake number 3, it's understanding your RV equipment. The one mistake that I see here is people thinking that X-chocks are chocks for the RV. X-chocks are really more of a stabilizer, but they go between the wheels, so they're kind of like a chock, but you should chock your wheels, and if you want to use X-chocks, those are added on top of using chocks on your wheels. And they should be installed after your RV is already leveled. So solution there, if you do like using X-chocks, just make sure you still chock your wheels properly. Now, quick little bonus tip of something that I like to do when setting up. It's not necessarily a mistake, but definitely a good little tip is I like to put my gloves on before I set up my water on the RV because once your hands get wet, trying to put on those disposable gloves is just about impossible. And in the debate of gloves versus no gloves, I am definitely a disposable glove guy. I don't like to reuse my gloves, but I also like to put them on. So that way when I'm done connecting up my sewer hose and all those connections, I can just pull them off. I don't have to worry about opening doors or contaminating other things in order for me to wash my hands. I'm still going to go wash my hands, but it gives me a layer that I can pull off so I don't have to worry about contaminating other things. So that's just my preference. Oh, but the tip that I actually wanted to share is once I have my gloves on, I'll go to the water spigot, turn it on and clean it off because you never know what the person did before at that campsite before you got there. And if they cleans their sewer hose there or anything like that, I want to make sure that I wash and kind of flush that off. If you want to use a chemical, you could, but I definitely want to flush that out before I'm connecting my hose. Just a quick little tip there. But that brings us to our next one, which is making sure that everything is organized for your setup process. If it's not organized, it's going to slow you down tremendously. This one, again, kind of has 2 elements to it. The gear that you're using is important, but also the way that it's organized and just how accessible it is equally important as well. Just like, for instance, we have a data analyzer that's in a dedicated spot that I don't have to go rummaging through a bin. I can just open up a bay and grab it. I like to be able to have my equipment that accessible. So now I also wanted to go over some of the favorite gear that we have for setup because that definitely plays into it. And we're right in the middle of celebrating the 4th of July weekend, so I wanted to cover everything that we use for our setup that's based in America. So first on our list is the Camco Rhino sewer hose. I learned years ago not to skimp in this area and just go with the best. And so much of what Camco makes is actually made right here in the US. So not just US based, but actually made in the US. And the fact that it all fits inside of this tube, even my 45-degree angle, really helps speed up the entire setup and teardown process. So this 45 is another one on the list. It's small enough to be able to fit inside of the tube, also from Camco. And to complete that ensemble, we have the hose support, the Sidewinder hose support. They're just small, compact, and really simple. We also have the Evo Flex 2 hose, again, very compact, and the Camco pressure regulator. Another thing that I keep right here extremely handy is the adapters, the dog bone adapters. And one of the last things we use for setup is the fasten block system. So we like this because it's simple, effective, and variable. It's the variable that we can change on how big or short of a stack depending on the site. So with all this gear, I want two main important things. I want it to be quality, effective, and something that I can rely on. And number two, I want it accessible. I don't want to go digging through anything. I want to be able to get to it as quick as I possibly can. That gear that we just walked through, 95% of the time, that's the exact gear that I'm using to set up our RV on a full hookup site. If I need something extra, like the Sewer Adapter Pro to be able to lock into a sewer connection, I can grab it, but because it doesn't fit in my tube section, it's not something that I grab every single time to use because it's not as convenient as the thread-in adapter. So if your goal is to get the RV set up as quick as you can so you can get to all the other things that you want to enjoy, having a really simple system that is highly organized where it's all right there in the forefront is definitely the way to go. And I'll put a link into the description to all this preferred setup gear. Now this next one is something that's just easy to not kind of finish the job. Okay, now this one's pretty quick and easy, and it's making sure you fully plug in your electric cord. On this end, we have this twist ring that locks it into position. So you obviously plug it in, you twist it in. And the mistake is a lot of people will stop there, but we have this ring that tightens it to the RV. I'm not a huge fan that the plastic is really easy to cross thread and mess up, but it's better to take your time, get that threaded properly and tighten it down. Because if you have a loose connection here, it really can be a fire hazard. If you wanted to step up the game, you could go to a smart plug, which I think should be kind of more of the industry standard. But if you have this style of connection on your RV, make sure you plug it in, twist it into the location, and then make sure you put down that lock ring. Easy one to want to try and skip. Now, another one that's really easy to miss is forgetting to purge your water lines. This one's really simple to miss because you're setting everything up, you're connecting everything, you're turning everything on, you're not really thinking about, is my water heater purged of the air in there? Because if you forget that element inside of the water heater will burn up and you'll have to replace it. So it's worth taking that extra minute just to purge the air out of your water lines to make sure that you have water in your water heater and in the rest of the system. It's also a bonus that it helps out getting the air out of the line. So when you turn on the faucet, you go to flush the toilet, you don't get that blast of air that kind of creates that splatter. So I like less splatter and less of that surprise, especially when I'm going to flush the toilet. It's better for the system and it could save your water heater. So purge the lines and then turn on your water heater. Next one is leaving the black tank dry. And this is when you're going from one site and traveling down the road to go to the next one. I like to be able to put in that little bit of water before we start traveling and put in our tank treatment. It's just going to be better for the black tank health. And I even like some of that sloshing around while we're going down the road. I know I'm stretching it a bit here because this is a teardown tip rather than a set up your RV tip, but the way that I see it, if you tear down your RV properly and prep it for the next setup, it just rolls right into the next and helps you on the next setup. So it kind of goes hand in hand. I'm all for those really simple solutions. It's good for the black tank and helps out the sensors as well. It's a win-win. But I hope seeing some of these mistakes or things that are just really easy to miss or can help speed up the process will help you out in some way and help you enjoy RVing even more. Get to the fun things that are out there for RVing. So I think that's going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope that it helped you out in some way. So as always, if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you in the next video. Take care.